I have one.
That shit'll do.
Yeah.
I think I'm fine.
Hey,
Maybe it won't be that long.
the banks.
We hope so.
Looks like we got a shortage today.
I got 30 minutes here.
They ain't gonna do that.
Price is still in there.
That's
If you got 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah,
Rick, it might be
that's a
good.
deal breaker right there. Yeah, deal breaker right there.
But they're not gonna do that.
What you saying, was that to me? I said.
Eighth of a
we
point
hope
minutes just
so.
to get.
Yeah.
You know. They ain't gonna get that. Tommy. But
So
you
where,
know,
where did you go this weekend? The Notre Dame game was in Georgia.
no, Indy was in.
Oh, what
South Bend.
channel were you watching?
I was watching the Georgia Notre Dame game. Was I watching?
No, it was the week before.
Yeah, that was last week, Tommy.
Oh.
You must have watched
This week they
You must have
played
watched your
Virginia.
DVR.
He's still learning how to use his DVR. It was on one of the major channels.
Must have been a repeat.
We watched,
Did you lose?
Virginia, no, Notre Dame won.
Tom, you're off a week.
No, I'm not. Boy,
I'm good, actually.
because I know Anita said that you were at the Notre Dame game, and then when I came home and I was watching it in Georgia, I said, gee, you went all the way to Georgia?
I did too.
Oops.
Better for worse, buddy.
I thought you might have been, had a little side
They were
thing
supposed
going
to
on.
beat Georgia and
Then
they
you
lost.
thought maybe you shouldn't talk to Anita about it, right?
Well, no, I asked her, where's your other half?
Of course.
Hey, Marcy.
I'm ready.
Hey, you.
Did you get my email?
Darcy, you're gonna,
Thank you.
Darcy, you're gonna start playing, pickleball?
I don't know, you know, I just saw someone out there
Oh, yeah.
with a automatic, what do you call it, like a pitching machine kind of thing.
Nita said you might have an interest in it.
I do.
It's a lot of fun.
We've got a set of,
Interested in what?
Pickleball.
pickleball.
Oh,
Nita's trying to get that thing going here.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have a set of paddles, we just need to find the time, you know?
Yeah, we need to set a time.
You almost have to make a date to do anything anymore.
That's true.
Gee.
Put it on the schedule.
Hey, girl.
Story of your life.
You're one.
It is.
Oh,
Hey, what, hey, Ken.
and if you left a message,
What's that?
keep calling him.
What's
He doesn't have an email address, I presume. Or will you just go right to his phone?
Everybody's gonna see what you're doing.
What is
We
it?
can't do that, but
I was
I
saying
didn't have
if
an
we-
initial when they pick up.
Okay,
But I can definitely call them.
okay.
And then, you know, I'll have them picked up and they get initial. So,
No, I don't like it.
Yeah, we have.
you try, but
Yeah, that's personal.
Well, there you go.
I said,
Yeah.
she said, I got some chicken strips, how about you make mashed potatoes?
Starting the second page.
So I threw that, yes.
Two,
Everything
three,
back there. And-
four. There's emergency information.
Used to do that.
right.
This is great if you send it. Format would you like? The last page. We've got.
Hi, Doug.
It is, that's right.
It's okay.
It's-
You need a dedicated, straightforward.
Yeah, it's-
When you were a little kid,
Even
Dad called you a
thought about it.
He was never looking.
Came out probably about 180 pounds. Tough push. My dad did a little bit,
Yeah, we
not a ton, but
what do you got?
We just agreed.
probably cowboy.
Good.
I got a son called Pete.
But it was Andrew. Most of the time I just never like Andy.
It's just.
You're not an Indian.
No. So he did it every once in a while. And then when I went to like 5th grade, the teacher like asked, well, what would you like to be called? And I just was like,
Just right over boxes and things, just almost the full
stamp it from then on out.
refrigerator.
I mean, all my official stuff is Andrew J. Like my diplomas and all that stuff. But I mean, I
You can do what you want.
signed papers and all the way through high school, college, everything is AJ.
The judge called you Andrew.
Yeah. Police officers usually do too.
Are you still living at?
That's right.
No. My mother kicked me out.
Andrew, how do you plead? Guilty.
Never plead guilty.
Yeah, and I got these 3 days.
There's always a loophole, there's always a way to.
Never plead guilty.
My dad taught me the opposite. Never lie to a cop.
Bad idea.
Yes, we can do
You never know what they saw.
So whatever is left.
And then if you get mad.
That's a good point. There's a contractor out here that I'd have probably give a warning to one time, but he tried to run from him. And when he went down one of the side streets and he come out and I asked him why he went back there. Then he lied to me. He told me he was going back there for a bid. I said, what's that?
She loves that kind of thing, and she loves museums and all that.
Trying to run?
I go with her once in a while.
You just bought yourself one, buddy.
So,
All right, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. This is the September 30th Heritage Lake POA operations meeting. On the agenda first is the leaf drop-off schedule. My name's against this, but I can ask Ken where we are on that.
Well, I had put it out into the Heritage Highlights that it will be beginning this Saturday and Sunday through November. We will be having the gates open with it being managed by different people throughout the weekend from the hours at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for leaf drop-off only. They are starting to fall. We got it in place. The maintenance employee, Mav Gasaro, is gonna be holding down the fort this first weekend. Like I stated, they're gonna be 2 4-hour days, so they're gonna be taking the Monday prior off for that week. So it doesn't cost anything extra, and that's kind of the schedule we keep when we do the beaches. So I advertise that in the highlights, so we probably need to send out maybe a mass email.
Yeah, email blast. I could post something on Facebook, any other way we can get the word out, because you're right, leaves are starting to fall. Leaves are starting, you can smell the fire in the air now, so people are continuing. Some bigger than others. So yeah, that's certainly gonna start being a bigger issue. So at this time, no plan to do anything during the week for drop-off times? It's strictly on Saturdays and Sundays?
Correct.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Keep us updated.
I did tell one gentleman, and, you know, I'll do the best I can if it's requested. I told one gentleman that just weekends was not gonna work for him because he had several loads that he typically has, and I told him that if he would tell me that if he was flexible enough, that if he told me that the next day he would have a load to bring over, and we agreed on a time, I would go over there, and I'd take the time to go over there and let him in. So, you know, if I start getting 20 of those a day, then I may have to do something a little different, but I did tell that gentleman that I'd help work out with his schedule.
Cool. All right, good
Can
job.
anybody bring branches or any kind of wood at all, just leaves?
Just leaves.
Just so people ask me, it's just leaves.
Just
Leaves, Jeff.
With it being
big
manned.
stems.
Yeah, what's the determination on stem size, right? With the area being manned, I think it might behoove us maybe one or two weekends in the month of October, or even in November, allow some brush in there because it's piling up.
Piling up where?
People's backyards. How about over in Victory Hill Drive, a trailer load at the side of the road. It's piling up in people's yards.
What are we gonna do with it once we put it over there? We've got nothing to do with it, I guess.
Yeah, last time it cost $4,000 to $5,000 to get rid of it.
It was $2,500, and to not have that much brush piled up around the community, that's a heck of a deal.
Well, you know, when I lived in Indianapolis, my taxes were twice as much as they are here, and I had to take care of my own brush.
Mhm. Great, we're not in Indianapolis, we're in Putnam County at Heritage Lake, and we've always had that amenity.
Illegally.
True, you're right. But at no fault of previous boards.
Well, it doesn't matter about previous boards or previous times.
Right.
It's illegal, and we're gonna get reprimanded for it financially. We can't support the community's limbs anymore.
And if
We've
you-
done it illegally since 1974, we can't do it any longer. We've already explained this several times. So your branches are your branches. Talk to the guy who's coming to pick up your trash. If you put them in bundles, as you said, I think 3 meetings ago, put them in bundles, they'll take them.
Right.
That's gonna have to be the way it is until we figure out something else. I mean, we can come up with all these alternative plans, but somebody ruined it for us, and we're here. We're done. It's leaves only.
Yeah, it really can't be the POA's responsibility
No.
to get rid of them. It's a private property owner issue. Unfortunately now, we can't do much to help them legally, so we can't take the responsibility. There's several alternatives for people to pursue, like Paul just said, about talking to your trash company, hauling them away yourself. There's somebody that lives near the community, Elizabeth Romine, a couple weeks ago volunteered her burn pile for people to come and drop their stuff off. They can leave a donation at her back door or something. There's things that people can do, but it can't be on the POA and the POA board to direct people on how to manage their own yard waste. We could take the leaves, but that's about it. Tom?
No, we decided leaves only, period, so let's.
Yeah, the empathy's out there for the people that are used to what we used to have, but it's over. It's done. And until it's just done.
All right, any other discussion? Thanks for the update, Ken. Next thing on the agenda, covenant petition. I'm excited about this one. In 2016-17, we received 1,442 member petitions during the 18th month voting period. So that's about 48% of all votable lots. Today, after just 6 months since the start of the 2019-2020 campaign, we've received 1,275 petitions representing about 43% of our votable lots. That's only 167 fewer than what we received the entire time of the 2016-17 campaign. I'm really, really proud of that. There was a lot of work that was done by a lot of people sitting on this board. Jim Eulenbein, the election committee, Jim Johnson getting the electronic voting up and running. It's been just a tremendous effort for everybody, so it looks like it's finally paying off. We made some pretty significant progress. We have got, since the end of round one and the end of August, we've gotten 489 votes in just over a month. So I think that's really tremendous progress in a short amount of time. 264 of those votes were from the voting website, so that's helping as well. So keep the pedal to the metal. We got to keep pushing. We got to keep communicating. I know the email will still be continuing from the voting website, like once a week, I think, to keep pressure on those guys. We need to start looking at specifically multiple lot owners to make sure that we pursue them. I know that there's also been some response to Jim Eulenbein by those owners that have left the community and got the second round petition and said, hey, I don't live here anymore. It's not my responsibility to vote on it, but it is. Anybody who received a petition was a lot owner as of February 9th, and that was the cutoff date. So if they sold their lot after February 9th, they're still the only person that can vote their lot. So we're getting the word out on it. We'll get some clarification out to the people that come back with questions on it. So at any rate, we're in really good shape. We've done a lot of work. We've got a long way to go though, so we'll continue on that effort.
And that was through when?
That was through today. I got the last numbers today from Jim, yeah.
One thing to add, we're not really in good shape. So when you're out there, board members, people that care about this idea of changing the covenants, just ask the person while you're talking to them, have you voted?
Yep.
I can't tell you how many votes I think I got sent in, because that's all I asked. I just said, have you voted? A couple times people said, voted on what?
Yeah.
So it's a nice thing to just say when you're out there and you meet somebody. And these were people I've never met before. So I think that's an important thing for us to realize. Things are going good for us because we've seen it in the past that it just didn't work.
The bar was low, I guess.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're right, you're absolutely
So
right.
I think it just needs to be the top of our list no matter where we are.
Absolutely.
No
In
matter
fact,
who we are.
I've had some work done on my house recently and had a couple contractors come out to quote it, and those were immediate questions that I had. Hey, got some petitions here, have you voted yet? So it's as easy as that, and most people are receptive to it. The easier you make it for them to do, the more they're gonna be helping us out. So
Thank you.
it's a good thing. So keep up the work, guys. It's really having a good impact, and still a long way to go, but at least we're going in the right direction.
Who would have the list of people that did not vote?
Jim Muhlenbein is keeping that list.
I got it, I sent it to Jim.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can only tell you about
The
the
electronic,
E's,
yeah.
The E's.
What Jim is doing is he's tracking all of the local votes, the ones that are mailed back in the ballot boxes, emailed, texted, whichever format that is. He's keeping all of that directly himself, but then the electronic voting website is also keeping a report of all of the people that have voted on that website. So they're gonna continue to send Jim that number as well, so he can compile it with his master list. So then we'll be able to have a live tally of who voted and who hasn't, so we'll know who to pursue going forward. So he's sending a report to me every week, every couple of weeks, so. So we'll continue to chase them, guys. Anything else?
Oh, do you?
Okay. Next thing on the agenda, HLCS highlights. Rick Miller.
Hi, Rick Miller, 26 Gettysburg. Thank you for giving me a little bit of your time tonight. I came on behalf of HLCS, mostly as a courtesy, just to give you an idea on where we are and where we're heading, and to maybe get your help and cooperation along the way. But I gave you a sheet that, basically summarizes what I'm saying here tonight. But we met last week, and Harold and Tom and Dee approved me taking Harold's position when he retires. And I immediately set out because I'll need, since they're all retiring, Tom, I'll need a board to work with me and of course help to get the work done. But I already found a treasurer. I'm really excited because if you know Carol Kowalski, she's a longtime resident here at Heritage Lake. She's a certified bookkeeper and accountant. She has business and private clients and does taxes, and she's also been treasurer at Canaan Church forever, it seems. And so she's familiar with 503C corporations, and so she's just really a great fit. And of course, I know her really well since I go to that church. But she'll do a fine job for us. She agreed to take the position. So I'm going to be looking immediately for other help. I know the work that Harold has done, it's not a full-time job for anybody, but there is work. And so I want to spread the work around because I don't want to be the single source of anything. And so I want to recruit help so that I can take time off if I want and maybe get new and better ideas than my own. So I'll be looking for help in the form of associate publishers, editors, photographers, web developer, we'll talk about that in a minute, and then any other volunteers that we might get. So if you know people that want to help publish a quality product out here, send them my way, please. I wanted to share some short-term goals. First of all, this is a commitment to Harold, HLCS, and to all of you. The highlights, as you now know it, we're going to keep that alive. We're going to reproduce it as best I can, and probably for the long term, even though website, I think, is a direction that I want to go. I'm acutely aware that not everybody will use the website. Some people need to touch and feel paper. So we'll keep that alive for the long haul. So that's a short-term goal, though, is to learn, and Harold's committed to helping me We talked about the telephone directory. Harold's initial inclination as he retired was he was not going to do it. We will. We're going to start now or soon. Harold's agreed to help me produce it, and it'll be up to me with whatever help I can find to print it and distribute. Although we may come up with some new ideas for that too. But nevertheless, there will be a directory. Future directions. These are exciting because I've been here a long time. I've seen the directory evolve, and I've seen what Harold's done, which is a fine job, by the way. I looked around several lake communities around the state. I have a friend I used to work with long ago at the South Bend Tribune, who publishes a newsletter for the lake up in southern Michigan. And I know our newsletter is as good as most, or any, maybe. So I don't have any fault with what Harold has done. But
Don't break it, Rick.
but at the same time, I think there's more we can do. And so I listed these for you. I want to take the telephone directory, and if you've seen it in PDF form on the HLPOA site, you know, it's darn convenient, but I think we can do it better. And so one of the goals will be to turn that into a document that may be made able by a website presence, but nevertheless, you know, for advertisers and even for residents, wouldn't it be neat if you pull that document up on your iPhone, if you could click the number and have it dial, stuff like that. Okay. The social media, I want to expand into that. It's not the highest priority, but I think anytime you publish something, if you're not doing social media, you only did part of the job. I want to turn the highlights, in addition to what we have, into an online newsletter or a newspaper. And by doing that, I'm convinced that we can do more. We can add pages for I've listed them here, youth activities, sports activities, resident spotlights. Wouldn't it be neat? You have somebody buy a new property and they move in. Wouldn't it be neat to interview them and show a picture and tell where they came from, so to build on the community, stuff like that. That's a newspaper. Okay? One of the things I want to do with a website, of course, is to provide value add for our advertisers. Right now, in the highlights, they're all listed at the end. People read the highlights news, and they may never flip through the advertisers' pages. So with a website, you can give them targeted placement, you can give them click counts to see who went to the website, who went to my advertisement on the website. Give them something for their money. Okay. So that's kind of the future. And right now I need just a couple things from the board, if you will. Harold currently has access to the POA website so that he can get content and he can put the directory and newsletter out there. I need that access about as soon as I can get it, if you will, please. Continue providing content, in the form of news or the information you're already sharing. And the last item is really just a suggestion or a request. I noticed this past month, soon after the highlights was published, someone pasted into social media a number of the highlights pages. And while that's pretty cool, it kind of cheats our advertisers. So my request is, I don't know who did that, I don't care. My request though is, if you're going to do that kind of thing, at least put a link to the highlights in there so that there's a chance people will see the advertisers. Okay, that's all I'm asking. So, that's it.
Good.
I'll take questions if you have any, or recommendations if you have those.
Thanks, Rick.
Well, Rick, I want to say that, you know, any help you need from the office, we'll be glad to help you. We've worked with Harold, whether it be even assisting, you know, getting started by putting the phone book directory together. I know that's very time consuming. So at any time you need our help, let us know. We want to see you get off to a good start, and you know, at any time, just give us a shout. We can help in any way. I mean, the majority of your, you know, ideas or assistance or whatever, will, come to the office and we'll be glad to help in any way.
All right, thanks very much.
Anybody else on the board have anything for Rick? Rick, thank you very much. I appreciate your efforts and ideas, and we look forward to seeing what happens next.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Don't hold me to a timeline on the new stuff. That'll take a while.
I'm gonna keep this on my front page all the time.
Hold me
so-
to it, but not.
Thanks, Rick. Anybody else have anything else for discussion?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
That's all too quick.
Hang on.
Wanted to ask about the, you've asked me to bring us up the extension to the POA,
The extension to what?
the POA barn, the addition to cover our equipment up.
Oh, we talked about this earlier in the year, the back end of the POA equipment shed. I guess I don't remember if
Yeah,
we
we
approved that or
approved-
not.
yeah, we
Yeah,
approved-
has
yeah.
any of that work started?
It has not.
Okay.
We have not started anything, we haven't purchased it.
Okay.
I guess the question is, are we?
Yeah, are we still gonna do that work?
Yes.
Okay, we're just waiting for the busy season.
I mean, unless somebody tells me no.
How much is it?
I can't.
It's already been approved.
I think it was
I don't care.
87.
How much is it?
I think it was 87.
Is it?
I think.
8,700?
Yeah. And you know what it's gonna do? It's gonna
That's just right
protect,
off the top.
how much equipment?
Oh, it's gonna protect our equipment?
Yeah.
Forget it, I remember the deal now.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause I got a separate folder on that.
We gotta do that, that's
Yeah,
us.
Yeah, before winter time, yeah.
Yeah, I just figured it was, we'll be
Thank you.
rolling on that real soon. There's a lot of, once we get things winterized, we'll probably start rolling in that, kind of a winter project kind of thing.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. if there's
I hold
nothing
my-
else,
Suggestion?
We have a motion on the table.
I do.
I believe
And
it
we
was
have a second.
seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Executive
Short, sweet.
meeting?
Executive, please, yes.
You're,